Welcome to another episode of Husbands Watching Housewives. I'm Scott.
And I'm Jeff.
And we just watched an episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac.
Yes, we did.
This is episode 2?
Episode 2, yeah.
Oh.
Very new into the season.
Yeah, I was going to say, it feels like they're getting petty enough where I feel like it's episode 3 or something.
Yeah. Just a little bit of pettiness, a little bit of shade. But it was being shady.
No, yeah, of course not. Never. Goofy.
Mm-hmm.
The whole, really was just Wendy and Wendy met up with Gizelle, right? That's really...
Oh, getting right into it, yes.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, Mia came back to the party.
Oh, yeah.
After crying a bit.
I don't think I'm good at to be continued because I wrote it off last week.
It's dumb. I mean...
Dumb to be continued on top of that.
Yes. I mean, so yes, what they said to her, it's so weird, not weird, it's just so dumb that they're like, we weren't trying to talk about you as a mother, but you were saying that like you did wrong by your kids. Like, I can't remember the exact language they used. In
what world does what they say not make a judgment about her mothering?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me at all.
I think it was like you weren't looking out for your kids or like something to the effect. It's like, it just should have been off the table. Do not talk about the kids. Of course she's going to like get upset, and then but she comes back.
Yeah.
And they just continued on. Oh, what happened that led to the Wendy Gizelle thing, because Gizelle gave Wendy the bucket hat because their relationship was in the bucket. And Gizelle just needs to like try to make things happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Wendy rocked the bucket hat.
Yeah. And it's been bad rapping though.
Well, is there any sort of good rapping on televised reality shows? Usually not.
Not really.
I mean, want me to start some rapping?
I don't want you to start some rapping.
I'm sure everyone here would love to hear it.
No.
I would never dare. Never dare because I have no rhythm whatsoever. Although rhythm is a dancer. Anyway.
But it is.
So, yeah, I'm glad that Wendy and Gizelle got together. We're just moving on to that.
Yes, I think we should.
There was a nothing.
It was a nothing burger.
Yeah, it was a apology. Like, I don't even know what they resolved. Like, they just basically agreed that they didn't like each other and that they were going to try moving forward.
But there was no, I feel like if you're going to move forward, you have to address the thing that you were fighting about to begin with. Not to rehash it, but just to get it out there and then you move on.
Right.
So I think, yes, Wendy can talk down to people and be a bit condescending. I don't think it's that horrible as others have said.
Right.
But she accepted that. She received it. But I think she should have said to Gizelle, I feel that you were trying to ice me out of the group.
Right.
Not that you just like weren't talking to me. It wasn't just about you. You were just like, I don't want to F with Wendy. So I don't want anyone else.
Right.
Like, I want her gone.
It's a concentrated effort. There was a campaign to like ice Wendy out.
Yes, that she and Robin were participating in.
And probably getting Ashley involved in a little bit too.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the fact that none of that was really brought up, that, Gizelle didn't really own up to anything.
No.
Other than not liking Wendy. Like
if I don't like you, I'm not going to talk to you. And it's like,
yeah, but what did she do to make her not like her? Like, that's the sort of thing that I wanted to hear. I wanted to get some resolution to that. If Giselle's going to go ahead and say, I don't talk to people who I don't like, well, what is it about her you don't like?
Because Wendy called you on your bullshit. That's what happened. Let's go way back to season 7, or I can't remember anymore.
Yeah.
But Gizelle bringing up crap about Wendy's husband that wasn't true. Wendy reacted, and in the following season, that's when they showed the scene where Gizelle saying, I don't want to hug, don't touch me. Because Wendy like fully called her out on her crap, as did Nicki Minaj to a certain point in that reunion. So it's like, that's what we need to address. You were being messy. You were being really horrible to me and spreading false rumors. And there we go.
And with all the fourth walls breaking on all these shows lately, that wouldn't have been difficult for Gizelle to say, I was trying to be messy. Just own up to being messy. I was trying to stir the pot.
Yeah.
And like, it didn't work. I'm sorry about that.
She never will.
Never.
She never fully said, I'm sorry. And it was just like, I received this. Giselle didn't really receive anything.
Right.
Wendy was doing most of the receiving. And they're like, well, let's move on and talk, and gossip about other people.
Yeah.
So it just, I don't know how you rebuild a friendship from that, because
Yeah, it makes me wonder.
Yeah.
There's obviously part of that, apology dinner that didn't air. It was probably them breaking the hell out of the fourth wall and then being like, look, we got to be on. We're working together. We have to figure something out. And that just be, well, let's just go ahead and focus on other people.
exactly. Let's cross it about Mia.
Yeah. And then that was really all Wendy was in. Oh, I guess. Well, other than the
late
game of the show.
We'll get
What happened next? Was it actually going over to Stacey's, or was it Karen going over to Gizelle's for cooking?
Or Keiarna going over to Karen's.
Oh, it was Keiarna going over to Karen?
Yeah.
You're right, it was.
And realizing that she wasn't invited to the Hatitude party, nor the GNA party. And, being okay with that because,
Yeah, I like that Keiarna and Karen get along and, and I whether that's true or not. I mean, I think that the link that they found, at least for the cameras, to be, that Karen went with her in the ambulance last year after the party and all that, like, shows that Karen really cared.
It's similar to how Karen was with Monique. They got close and they, were, when everyone else turned on Monique, Gizelle or Karen was, still cool with her. So
yeah, no, Keiarna looked great. I liked it.
Yes, her whole storyline will be wanting to get her boyfriend to marry her.
Seems like seems that way. He had a name, but I can't remember it.
I want to say it's Greg. We saw him like briefly in a flashback.
Weirdly, I wanted to say it was Roger, but no one's named Roger anymore.
Not really, no.
Although the guy that I do the website with, his name's Roger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but anyway,
with a D?
No D.
You don't see that very often.
No. And whenever I do, I always in my head say Roger. Make sure to like enunciate or make some sort of distinction that there's an extra letter in there.
With an accent.
Geoff. No. Yeah. Quickest way to make Jeff not like you is to call him Geoff.
Like mispronounce my name. Like you just should know the name because.
Yeah. It's not the traditional spelling, but you know what?
Actually, still
Jeff.
It's Old English.
It's the same way, Stephen can be PH or V, but when people see PH, like, isn't Stephen? It's like, full well it's Stephen. Okay, just say it.
It's just, people are just,
they
don't know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go there. I know. I just go there with people that I'm married to.
No, totally fine. There was a lot of back and forth to people at each other's houses. Nothing really happened with Karen and Keiarna except like, oh, you weren't invited to the party, which it was just done. Like Gizelle, when Karen goes to Gizelle and says, I told Keiarna you didn't invite her. And it's like, and Giselle's all upset, like, you were being messy. It's like, she's going to see and she's going to hear like, oh, the Hatitude party was great. What do you mean the Hatitude party?
And for God's sake, Vivian was invited to the Hatitude party.
Like, Vivian was so trying to be a friend. I think it really was like they were auditioning. Yes, like Jazzy, Vivian, and Keiarna. And
Stacey probably.
Stacey, I think was signed on full time.
Well,
I think when they announced that, like, for sure that Robin and Candace were coming back, it was like all these other originals from last season will be. And they said Keiarna was coming back as a friend. I remember that.
Okay.
Because everyone was like, oh, great, Keiarna's coming back. So I think somewhere they discovered Vivian wasn't giving much.
Right.
And Stacey, I think, was always meant to be full-time. And then Keiarna, I think, just like by chance or does some stuff to delivered.
Yeah. My guess was just it was a free-for-all. It was just like, we're going to just, y'all try your best. And whoever has the best, we're going to go ahead and, bring on in some form or another.
Well, it's like Salt Lake. They were saying someone said that Brittany was supposed to be full time, and then she didn't. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
I'm looking forward to Keiarna.
Yes, I like Keiarna.
I liked.
I was going to say Ashley. That was actually a very good, real conversation that I found very interesting. I actually put down my phone and I was like, I want to listen to this. Yeah. This is like actually real, because they don't really, it's something that people don't think about, but you want, having a biracial child, you want them to be proud and identify with both sides, and if you're not, like what Stacey was saying, that she doesn't have a lot of family, she doesn't have any family here. Mm-hmm. So it's, her daughter mainly knows her white German side and is not really, I wonder if you'd ask her daughter, like, what do you consider yourself? Yeah. Would she say, I'm a black girl? I wonder if they've had that, because Stacey didn't really say, like, they didn't have that conversation. And when she asked Ashley about her kids, Ashley was like, well, we haven't really, it's tricky, it's complex, we're reading books.
They're 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if Michael's like, wants them to be.
I'm sure Michael would be fine with, no, I'm sure Michael would be fine with them identifying as whatever they, feel like identifying.
But I think maybe like, if he's like doing the math,
Oh, he's just because
I'm like, you're half black and half white. I'm full white. So this makes
3/4 white.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. As a full white, basic white dude, I don't really know how to approach that. I mean, I always know because my mom was 100% Russian. And so she would always say, oh, we're Russian. Like she's Russian. And so I think because she's 100% Russian, I always said I was half Russian, half German mutt or German English mutt because my dad's side of the family is all Mayflower, but it ultimately is a German name, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think when you have a very strong part of your parentage being 100% of something, it's easy to identify as that. Mm-hmm. So like I would, or is part of that. So I think, if your mom's black and, I think I would say I'm half black, I'm half German. Yeah.
Yeah. But to the world though, you're black though. But then there's the whole thing about then we get into like, different shades and colorism.
Well, and that's what you said when we were watching was like, oh, they can't have the colorism conversation. This is a good alternative.
Right.
Maybe this season, Wendy will be like, oh, we can have the conversation now. People do have the right.
Right. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
That's what she should talk about.
And it'll be like, girl, hold on.
Wait,
let me back.
Right. That's what she should talk about on her talk show.
Maybe
colors. Maybe she has. We haven't watched.
We don't know. No, that was a really interesting conversation. I'm glad that they had it. And
important, yeah.
Then they, of course, cut quickly to the, I'm seeing a guy and we haven't had sex. So Ashley
could, a devout Christian.
Yeah, so Ashley can make a bunch of faces and be like,
girl, Stacey.
Oh, and then what was with Ashley being like, wait, you're living with him? That's weird. It's like, Ashley, were you not living with Michael? Were you not like the separated people for like 3 freaking years?
Well, when they decided to separate, they were in that
condo
penthouse for a while, but then he basically bought her that house.
Right.
He signed for it.
I don't know, but still being like we're together but not together.
Well, also like, weird because remember he had like a key to the house. He could like just drop in whenever. And
yeah. All I know is Ashley doesn't seem like she's in a position to judge people over separations and how people choose to handle that.
Yeah, it's throwing stones from her glass.
Yeah. So, but she's moving through it. I also think, she already made last episode some weird metaphor about getting the D, and then this episode, pogo stick.
Yeah.
Like, how many different metaphors is she going to have for riding one?
Oh, she's like test driving cars.
That was the last episode.
Yeah. Now today is
different pogo sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like next week and be like, oh, is she going to be riding another horse? Like what? Like, maybe.
But then she'll like blatantly say like dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you haven't got any new dick, Stacey? And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I don't know that I could be married to someone for 17 years and then go straight from that to
nada.
And then like, and just the whole idea of getting married again so quickly after, like that.
Just so you could have sex. Because when Ashley said, do you see yourself marrying this man? And Stacey said, well.
Journey we're on.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, please don't go there on a journey.
Yeah.
Like, it's a yes or no question. Like, it's also too soon. They've only been together for 2 months.
Right.
Like, to talk about marriage is like, oh, yeah.
I'm sure there's too less bright for my eyes.
Oh, the screen.
And it reflects off my glasses.
Oh, got it. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah. I actually, now that so far, not just to be blunt, like throughout this whole episode, when we started, the minute I was like, welcome to another episode, I was like, what the hell are we going to talk about? Like, what really happened this episode? Like, things moved forward, but like nothing really major happened. But I think the most interesting part of the episode was definitely Ashley and Stacey
having the full conversation.
Yeah, the whole full conversation
from
start to finish.
Yeah,
I mean, Lord knows, hearing about how Stacey's daughter was going to be in Mexico and
needs to know how to cry for help.
Yes, and I thought it was funny, though, that it asked, like, do you know either of your parents' phone numbers? Because in this day and age, you wouldn't.
Kids don't know phone numbers. It's just, like, in their phone.
Yeah.
But,
Same way, the only reason I know your phone number is because it's, our Safeway club card number. If I didn't have to punch that thing in when we get gas, I wouldn't know your phone number.
Somebody asked me for yours the other day, and I had to, say, wait, okay.
Yeah.
And I did it. I didn't look at my phone, but it was like I had to stop and really think about it, because it's just, you don't really dial numbers a lot.
No, I mean, when I used to be
I do at work.
When I was in the office full time, I would remember numbers because I'd have to call them.
Yeah.
But now I just use, the pandemic got me really used to talking on my cell phone. Remember when, like, before you're like, no one actually talks on their cell phone.
Right.
Pandemic helped me with that because all my work calls started coming into that. But now I'd much rather be on my cell phone talking on my office phone. I also used to have a headset at work, and now I don't.
Yeah, I don't have a headset at work.
You should get one.
I should, because it's like you really hurt your neck when you're like holding it.
You just feel like you're a 9 to 5 or something, and you're like, you're some just fast talking career woman with your phone arched over.
Remember, like those phones would have like the huge thing?
Oh yeah,
on the, like, what was that, for like a cushion?
We had them growing up. My mom, because she worked in offices, she would always like, oh, we need one of these for the house. She'd always be like, cradle on her shoulder.
But you got to take off your clip-on earring first.
Yeah, she didn't wear no clip-ons.
My mom did.
Yeah. So no, the Ashley bit of it was really interesting. I liked that conversation, and that was nice. And then I did go with Karen going over to Giselle's.
Yeah.
And actually calling Gizelle out for being messy at the Hatitude party. And
right.
Just setting up kind of without saying you set up a pile-on, you did, like the Inquisition. And like people were, my cat's having a
It was like,
now.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. It was, she tried to set something up, and Karen pretty much shut it down in the moment. But Gizelle was like, I'm not being messy, which, if you have to say that, you have a history of being messy, and people are always going to think you're being messy, because that's
that. I mean, she was so obviously being messy. The same way that, like, what world did Karen and Gizelle think they weren't questioning Mia's parenting?
Exactly.
Like putting that non-alcoholic, oh no, I was just giving people options. Like
Giselle's a master of throwing the stone and hiding her hands.
Yeah.
All the time. Like, what? Me? There's no stone here. What?
Yeah. And it just...
Oh, it's a rock.
Girl, there's a camera. We saw you throw the stone. Like, there's this whole age of denial, not just in Housewives, but in media in general, of people like saying things very clearly, and later on, I never said that. It's like, here's all the video. Oh, no.
You're gaslighting. Yes. Pure gaslighting. Yeah.
I'm trying to give Gizelle the benefit of the doubt and hope she's turning over a new leaf, but
no.
Based on her actions in this episode, it doesn't seem like Robin was her main problem with being messy. It was definitely her own self.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
I thought maybe Robin was enabling it and like emboldening her.
Robin can't enable anything. She doesn't have the ability.
No, I don't think so. Robin, but
I don't miss Robin. Don't think about Robin. Like,
I only think about Robin when it comes time to like Gizelle, because they were part and parcel together.
Thieves.
Yeah. And so, like, I'm definitely comparing and contrasting Giselle's behavior this season without a Robin,
right,
and seeing like, where really is the problem coming from, and it's coming from inside the house,
inside hotel, Motel Gizelle. Yeah.
So,
I have to say though, like, I don't walk into episodes being like, Gizelle. Yeah. I'm just like, whatever.
Although after how she handled things at the very end of this episode, I might start thinking that.
Well, I mean, it might turn. I mean, it's to be continued, so it might get better, or maybe Ashley will diffuse it.
You're probably right.
It's okay.
So for actually let's first off,
I think, you're thinking the same thing.
Well, no, I was going to ask, what the hell is G&A now? What is it? What was it before? It never became what it was supposed to be.
It was selling socks on the internet is what it was.
Yeah.
With like little hats, little beanies.
Yeah, it was supposed
to
be like a
what
whole
we saw on the fashion show was not on the website, never materialized. Right. And so now we moved away from that into health and wellness. But what does that translate to?
Yeah, like,
what are you doing? Are you going to have some like vitamins on your website? Like, what are you selling here?
Or is it just like
oils?
Here's a blog on like how to like work out better? Like, I don't get it. And what does it have to do with brain tumors other than her father? Like,
right? It's like they're partnering with this foundation, but I don't understand. It's a foundation, but it's a business. It's a business. But
It just seems like it seems like Gizelle and Ashley wanted to have a charity function, and they wanted to somehow tie their own brand into it.
Right.
And so that's why they just chose GNA, and they mentioned we want to be more about the inside and the outside, and so maybe it's
not
about
clear. It's very muddy. Like, I feel like you should have just stuck with, or actually put out some athleisure.
Right.
Because you never did. It was never available. Like, between when that filmed and now, you should have had something going. And then maybe as a side project, we are partnering, we are doing whatever. But, like, you don't have a clear message about how you are really facilitating this.
Yeah, and why?
Like, awareness is great, but, like, I don't get, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, is it going to be, medicine? Is it going to be like fruit, like juices, or like smooth? Like, what is it going to be?
My guess is
to facilitate this wellness or holistic whatever.
I think if you were to scan the internet for like holistic wellness, it'd probably be meditation and like ways to like clear your mind and things like that, and just probably attitude. They're probably not selling anything.
Right. It's like you're not teaching a class. You're not doing a yoga online thing.
Right.
It's just
they're trying to create like a lifestyle brand, like a way of living.
Right.
Like be like Gizelle, be like Ashley. That's what we do to like maintain our lives and become the great people that we are.
But here's the thing. It's like you need to start with what you started with. When Gizelle had Karen over and was wearing that really horrible like bodysuit, like workout outfit, that should have been GNA.
Yeah.
Like Melissa Gorga only wears envy. Period.
Right.
And then she'll put it on her Instagram. It'll all tie together. Like they both. When Ashley was going on that walk with Stacey, she should have been wearing a GNA athleisure, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so simple to market yourself on the show and to use the platform. And they're not doing it because there's nothing. They haven't made anything.
Yeah.
So it's like the emperor has no clothes. The emperor has no athleisure. I don't understand.
When I wasn't sure whether we were going to bring up the GNA not being clear as to what the hell it is anymore, I was like, also, I thought we were going to bring up how Karen was like, oh no, my event's at a completely different time. Like, nah, it's like a brunch or something, and And then I like how the women were like, what is she being honored for? Like, exactly. And then that was shady as F. I mean, for Gizelle to be like, I was invited to this thing a few months ago and Karen wasn't part of it. She must have asked to be part of it when someone canceled out.
Like she called and said, can you honor me, please?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like Gizelle is going to be saying a lot of things in her confessional that when the ladies see it back, like Giselle's trying to be all turn the other cheek and be, I'm starting new, and
right.
And they're going to see that she's just being awful in her confessionals. Like that was really shady to say about.
Very much so. Like you're like a consolation,
right?
And they just like, well, we can't honor so and so. I guess because like her name wasn't on
the original invite.
Yeah.
It's so dismissive. I think that's what it ends up being. With makes me not leap to liking Gizelle. She's very dismissive.
Very much so, more than Wendy.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think Wendy's condescending and talks to you like you're a child, maybe, but she's not like, I'm above you. I can't
like
bothered.
Yeah, like don't hug me. I don't want to share space with you. Like basically it's like I'm not acknowledging your existence, which is worse than being condescending to someone.
Right. If Gizelle knew that, she could have said to Karen, like, oh, I was invited a couple months ago. I didn't know you were part of it. And like, you said it to her face. But so many housewives have the problem of not saying things at the time or to someone's face. I don't know why I'm surprised.
Yeah.
But
Giselle's better at being shady in her confessionals than she is to your face. Except at the reunion. Like she comes prepared and she doesn't. Like, because sometimes she'll easily shut down, but then she came to play last year because she was like, shit, I'm second seat.
Mm-hmm.
That like provoked something. But like normally in scene, she's like, well, doop-to-do. I didn't know you were doop-to-do. And then in confessional, she's like, she wasn't invited.
Right. And the scene has that look of like she's watching everything, like
she's taking everything in.
And she's like, oh, okay.
And then she puts notes together, and then she is a shade assassin in the confessional. I mean, whereas Keiarna can do both. She'll shade you to your face and in the confessional.
I do think the bar for shade, though, has gotten so much lower this season without Candace. Like,
without Candace, it's very low.
Yeah, it's up for grabs.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Keiarna takes the takes the torch. I think she has the power, the ability to.
Well, we're seeing in the previews or in the trailer that Keiarna and Ashley are not getting along. So I think maybe she will be like, well, Candace isn't here. I'm going to read this hoe.
Right. And seeing as her, she got, pretty much got her full-time gig by defending Candace last season.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and fill this void. Who knows?
Right. She did, taking that whatever to her forehead, really painful.
Don't talk about her scar. Don't. We're not talking about her scar, Jeff. Stop it.
We're not talking about it.
No, we will not. I think the whole idea, it was definitely rude and shady of Karen to be like,
oh, for sure,
to be like, send a group message to everyone. At the same time, though, her logic when she explained it, I think you could grab that cat and we could put her on camera and.
I am not grabbing that cat, and I'd have to move this mic stand and grab it now.
But look, if she wants to be, just pull her tail. I do it.
Get back to our topic.
I think, sorry, I just want her on camera. I think when Karen explained it, when she was like, oh, well, just because we're having two events at the same time, why shouldn't anyone be here to support me?
Right.
Like, they can do both or make a choice. Like, why not give them the opportunity? They're adults. But at the same time, completely unreasonable. Like, she knew Gizelle and Ashley were having this event and should have
also
go to that.
Yeah, also, too, if it was like just a regular GNA event, whatever, fashion show, but this is to honor Giselle's father.
Right.
So, even I can say I don't totally like Gizelle, but I would have gone to that event because Karen can get an award any old time.
Right.
But this is like very fresh. Giselle just lost her father. Like, I think you need to have some respect for that.
Right.
As Ashley said in her.
And on top of it, it was very clear that Karen's event didn't have full camera crew at it.
Totally. And that was a totally like camera phone situation.
And so the whole thing, or maybe they sent one person, it just didn't seem lit well or anything. So the whole thing is the women should have gone straight to the GNA event and just been like, sorry, Karen. And
they probably didn't have permission to film Karen's events.
Oh, probably.
That's why you had like a PA holding a camera phone, getting that.
That makes sense.
Yes.
And then, I mean,
I would have just gone to Giselle's. Like, the fact that they, as Giselle said, tried to make it a bar crawl. Like, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, I like how they were like, it was supposedly so-and-so's driver. Who was?
Oh, Jazzy's.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is Jazzy's. Jazzy arranged this. Yeah, Jazzy arranged the sprinter. I'm sure that's what happened.
Like Fahim or whatever his name was, like, love, what's the ETA?
Right.
And then I like Wendy popping in, like, DC traffic is horrible. We are not going to make it.
I mean, I have to give hats off to Wendy to be like, I'm here to support Karen and I'm not leaving. Like, being one of the people that never, who's like, whatever, I'm staying here.
Like, she's not gotten her award. I will stay till she gets her award.
Right.
I can't.
What's the point of going?
But was Wendy actually, like, I want to know who actually was invited and who RSVP'd to the GNA event.
Good question.
Yeah, because that would determine some things in my mind.
I agree.
But I understand why Gizelle was pissed. And, like, I would be Ashley in the middle, because I'm often in the middle of, like, trying to go between two people. Like, so they said they can't come till 8:30, but I told them, guys, be here at 8. And, like, Giselle's, like, freaking out. You're like, I know. You're right.
I think showing up if they were there right at 8 o'clock, which they kind of almost were. I mean, they got there at 8:09 or something is what it said.
They should have been at Karen's event at 6 and said, hey, girl, hey.
Yeah.
And then pieced out and gotten to GNA by 7.
Yeah, they
rolled it at 8:02. Yeah, that wasn't going to work, especially when it ended at 9.
But if you go to an event and there's an hour left of it, like, especially when a lot of people show up to those events and leave after an hour. So what's the difference of getting there, late and leaving when it's done?
Well, I love because when Gizelle and Ashley and the other Ashley from the Brain Tumor Foundation gave their speeches, I want to know when those speeches happened. Like, was that 7? Or,
probably early on. You'd think maybe, let people, if it started at 6, then.
Because at 6:30, like, Gizelle was sitting down with Ashley and Vivian, I think, and Jacqueline chit-chatting. And then, I don't know, regardless, they should have just made the effort to be super early at Karen's thing.
Yeah.
If you want to stay and see her get the award, fine. But the others leave and be at GNA by 7.
Yeah.
At 7:30 at the latest.
Right. Halfway through the event. Exactly.
Yes.
But for when those women show up, first off, it wasn't easy for them to do both, but they did. The fact they showed up at all, like, I can't wait to see Wendy get Giselle's wrath for, you didn't even try to show up.
Yeah.
Did anyone else stay at Karen's thing, or was it just Wendy?
Keiarna.
Oh, well, then, yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
I don't blame her at all.
No, she has PTSD.
Yeah. I'm not doing another one of those. I wonder if Sesame Street was invited to the GNA event.
No, Ashley, I think, broke off that friendship.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I thought that was just lip service at the reunion, but apparently it's true.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for Gizelle to be all like, no. Like, she caused a huge scene, but you're right. She probably does.
She was like mid-conversation and like ran off, and then Ashley's like, oh shit, and like ran to like try to like intervene.
But you're right. Ashley's going to diffuse that, and it's to be all right. And Giselle's going to be like, so.
Yeah. Or she full on kicks them out and they go back to Karen's thing.
I hope that would happen, but I think we're wishing for too much.
I think Gizelle will be like, straight up, like, you disrespected me and my father's memory. Get out.
Sorry, I'm trying to make my eyes roll back further than they physically can.
Security.
Whatever.
You don't need security. Just like say, like, you guys, please leave. Like, you're not going to forcibly pick up Mia and like eject her from your party.
Yeah. So next week just resolves that, and what else is supposed to happen?
Well, we didn't see it because it's to be continued.
But what else do you think is going to happen? Like, something, again, it feels
it's
like...
time for the trip yet?
Yeah, it's just be more like meeting people, or I guess we're going to meet more Jazzy at some point, right?
Well, she's a friend of. I mean, we don't really need to meet her
That's
much.
True.
She seems nice, though. Very pretty. You know, she is married to, dating a football player.
Yeah. And then we'll get more of Vivian, I guess, but Jacqueline's back. And
Vivian was like, girl, I'm going to go with the cameras go because I'm trying to get this friend gig.
Oh, I know.
She didn't.
I know. But I love that. I love that the thirst is guiding her.
Because what Gizelle said, Vivian's Karen's friend, and even she's here. It's like, yes, Vivian knew where the camera was going, and she followed.
Yeah.
She's no fool.
I think we're going to see, from foreshadowing this episode, we're going to see some Jacqueline Karen altercation.
Yes.
Because they specifically mentioned that in this episode.
Yeah.
Nothing came of it. So I think maybe that's the next logical place to go.
And Jacqueline has Mia's back, so.
Yeah. So, well, that seems to be really all that happened this week.
Pretty much.
Can you believe we've been talking 32 minutes already?
Yeah, that's a good time.
That's a pretty good time.
Yeah.
So good time for next time?
Till next time.